The West Ham United squad and 6,000 Hammers fans will take the trip up to Old Trafford tomorrow to take on a Man United side that have just won the Carabao Cup and just won their first trophy and brought it back to Old Trafford, the first trophy for 6 years. It's a massive, massive game for West Ham, in my opinion, and that's what I'm going to discuss in this video. I'm going to go through my predicted lineup and my thoughts on Manchester United and all things Man United versus West Ham, as we are 2 wins away from Wembley. Let that sink in. Let's get on with the video. Come on, you Irons. Now, of course, full focus has been on the Premier League for the last few weeks for West Ham, as it's been a very nervy time for the fans and the players. As we've been loitering around that relegation zone, as we still are sat currently 16th as I record this. Now, I think, coming up, we've got Europe in the next few weeks, and of course this FA Cup tie tomorrow night. I think it's going to be a welcome distraction for the squad and for the fans, and I'm hoping that we can get the best out of it and hopefully maybe get ourselves into the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Now, Man United are a side that are playing some brilliant football at the moment. They believe their title race is well and truly back on. Nobody seems to be able to stop them at the moment, and players like Marcus Rashford are in the form of their life. So it's going to be an incredibly difficult game, but I believe that there may be some squad rotation there for Man United as well. It probably isn't their utmost priority at the moment. Of course, they've had Barcelona in the last couple of weeks. They've had the final. They've got Liverpool coming up. I've got a feeling that this probably isn't at the top of Ten Hag's priority list, although whatever side they put out is still going to be strong up in Manchester tomorrow night. So whatever comes up against us, so let's hope that they rotate as much as possible, but it's still going to be a strong side, and we're still going to have to be at our best if we want to get through to the quarterfinal. Now, Moyes sort of altered things at the weekend, went back to a back four, and went for it a little bit at home. Portrayed some more positive tactics, and that's why I want to give my predicted lineup of what I think Moyes will do / what I want Moyes to do ahead of the game tomorrow night. Now, there are going to be some alterations from that side, of course, but this is my side. I'm going to get straight on into it then. And of course, in goal, it's obvious, of course, after the injury that Fabianski picked up in the second half at the London Stadium on Saturday, I'd expect Alphonso Areola to be between the sticks for West Ham, and hopefully that can gain himself some confidence, and maybe there might be a stint for him coming up in the Premier League. Into my back four, then I've opted for a back four. Will David Moyes go for a back four? I highly doubt it, but there's always hope, whether it's Bob and no hope. There's still some hope there. And I'm reading from left to right. I'm going to go Emerson at left back, Ogbonna, Agurd, and Johnson. Now, this is all injury sort of dependent, because I've got a feeling Moyes might just be hinting on putting Creswell in there, which I think would be an utter disaster, to be honest with you. With the pace that they've got in their whole squad, Creswell will just be ripped an absolute new one. So I'm praying that Emerson's going to be there. Although he doesn't play his best at left back, I still think he can do a pretty good job there, and definitely better than Creswell. And Emerson's been getting into some form. So yeah, I'd have confidence of him steadying that left-hand side really well tomorrow night. And then the centre-backs, of course, we haven't really heard too much about Kurt Zouma as of late. So I expect it to be Ogbonna and Agurd if Moyes picks 2 centre-halves. That's not really much of a surprise. Moyes mentioned a couple of players in his pre-match press conference, but Zouma was not one of them, so we can just expect. Maybe there might be a little cheeky Moyes surprise in there, but I think we can presume that Zouma is still out. So Ogbonna and Agurd would be the centre-back partnership for me. Now it's a toss-up between Johnson and Kehrer for that right back or right wing back position if Moyes opts for that back three instead of the back four. Of course, after Vladimir Soufal picked up that heel injury, I think it was, as he was forced to leave the field at half time with an injury, of course. I think it was Creswell that came on and they sort of did a switch. So I'm hoping Creswell isn't there, to be honest. And I think that's his good as much as the fans' good as well. And Johnson, I think, gives them more defensive solidity and overall better play than Kehrer. So I'd opt for Johnson there. Moving up the field, I think Moyes is going to go back to his 3-man midfield now. Just as a disclaimer, I would fully expect there to be Souček in there, but I'm going to jazz things up a bit because why not? I can do what I want. Rice just sitting, and then Fornals, who I think's had a pretty hard time as of late. You know, he's hinted on his social media that he's getting a little bit frustrated with the lack of game time he's getting. So I'm going to give Mr. Pablo Fornals some game time, and I think that's fair. I'm going to put him and Paqueta there. You know, I would not be at all against Downs in there instead, but I think Moyes might just go for a cheeky Fornals, Paqueta and Rice. I expect Souček in there, but if he was to take Souček out, I think he might give Fornals a game in that position. And I think with Downs as well, you know, it's been a difficult time for him because I think he's more suited to that holding role. And when you've got Rice there, having 2 holders, which is probably what Moyes will do, it's just too negative for me. So I can't predict that. As much as Downs has been good, I've given Fornals the nod, and I think Paqueta's playing really well alongside Rice in that midfield. So I think it's a no-brainer for Lucas Paqueta to be in there as well. In the mid and the front 3, then of course with Danny Ings being cup tied, Antonio leading the line, Jared Bowen on the right, and Said Benrahma out on the left-hand side. Hopefully Benrahma can bring some magic to the game. Antonio with Scamacca, we don't think's available. It's obviously going to be Antonio, and Bowen on the right is a sort of no-brainer because he seems to start every game over in that position. So that's my lineup then. What would you guys change? What would your lineup be overall? Put that into the comment section down below. That is my lineup on the screen there. What would yours be? What would you change? Make sure you put all of that into the comment section down below. So yeah, thank you very much everybody for watching. Now, I think the key to take out of this, and my key sort of viewpoint going into this game tomorrow night, is we just must go full strength. I value the FA Cup highly, and now this is the position that West Ham left or departed the FA Cup last season. It was we left on a whimper away from home at Southampton last season. We don't want to do that again. We want to at least give it a good go, give it a good fight. You never know what's going to happen in a cup tie. We could go up there and beat them in the cup 2 years running, of course, Carabao and FA Cup. That would be amazing. And let's give those 6,000 West Ham fans that are taking the trip up there on a Wednesday night something to shout about. Moyes, please don't just go up there with your 9 at the back, because I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. He goes up there with his incredibly defensive 9 at the back, 2 attacking players, and we'll lose it 1-0 in extra time or something. The fans don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Why not go for it? And you might surprise yourself. We certainly did at the weekend. We scored 4 at home. When was the last time we did that? I can't even remember. So let's just try and be a little bit more positively mindseted about it as we go to a big 6 side. I know that scares David Moyes, and he must put the brakes on and put 7 defensive players on the pitch. But I think if we put that lineup out and we go for it, but if it doesn't work, fair enough, change at half time. But let's go into it with a bit more positivity, because I think we can beat them. Because they're a side that are going to make changes. They're not going to be at their best every single game. And I think there's areas that we can exploit out of them. Certainly if Harry Maguire starts, there's always a mistake in him. So, yeah, this game is definitely not a nailed-on home win. If we go out there with the right mentality and the right team, I genuinely think we can pick something out of it. And then, all of a sudden, we're 1 win away from Wembley. We've got a day out then, Let's give something for the fans to shout about. And the cups, for me, are just pivotal, If you guarantee to me now safety in the Premier League and we get to a final, that'll be absolutely amazing. Let's go for it in the cups. Let's get ourselves to a final. Let's give the fans something to shout about. That's all I ask for, David Moyes. Give the fans something to shout about tomorrow. Go for it and maybe shock Manchester United. That's it from me. Come on, you Irons. Good luck to all of and safe travels to all the West Ham fans heading up to Old Trafford tomorrow. Hopefully the players can excite you, and hopefully you can bring back a quarter-final tie. How amazing would that be? That's it from me. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers, guys, and bye-bye.